Welcome to the Barbell Strikes Back. I'm James McDermott, joined by Miguel Porter. Miguel, we are 1 week out from the New York State Championships. On
Yep.
this day, you'll be lifting. At this time, you'll be 25 minutes out from the session starting. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Time is going. We'll be there.
We will. That's one thing for sure is we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there. And actually, what's definite for sure, I will be there.
Yep.
So I will definitely be there. And hopefully everybody else is there too. But yeah, it's just funny how time is flying by. And then at each point this weekend, I'm like, I wonder what at this time I'll be doing next weekend. Okay, that's when that session will be going on. Where will I be? You're just kind of thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it's an unfortunate thing that has been happening is my normal event like sleep pattern, which involves sleeplessness, keeps popping up here and there randomly, like random Thursday. It's like, and then I'm telling myself, I'm like, it's not states yet. What are we doing? Like this didn't happen last week, but then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you're not going to bed tonight. And I'm like, what? There's no reason for that yet. So
Yeah.
I don't know why that keeps happening to me, but it does. So next week will be an interesting week. It will need to be a caffeinated week, which I the last week and a half or so, I've stopped drinking coffee. Just like, let me have a week without coffee. I'm still having a Fit Aid, which has a little bit of caffeine in it. But the nice thing is I didn't have like the typical, all right, I missed my coffee for the day. Then the next day I have a wicked headache or anything. It just kind of like was gone. Like, all right, hey, no coffee and you're fine.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice to not need it. You know, I'm not feeling like I need it. And maybe if I do have like a coffee now over that weekend, it'll hit a little bit differently.
Right.
That's part of why I wanted to do it. It's just like, all right, let me take a break from it, you know, the everyday routine. And then maybe now when I do go to add it back in, I'll actually feel it. Because I don't know about you. Are you a coffee drinker?
Yeah. I'm like a one very chill a day.
Uh-huh.
But I'm also like, if on the weekend I miss, like I don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I typically do, just one coffee a day. And then of course, you know, like a energy drink like Fit Aid. But I don't really feel that it does anything. So I'm having to drink and I'm like, I'm not feeling, you know, there's some days I'll have my coffee and I feel tired afterwards. And I'm like, well, what's going on here? So like, do I really need this? And maybe that's my sign to take a break. Every now and then, like when I'm doing stuff and I'm like, you know what, I feel like the returns are diminishing or it's not doing what I want it to do. I should take a break from it. Do you have anything that you do that with where it could be any XYZ thing?
Yeah, I would say it probably is like a coffee thing too. Like I go through phases. Usually in the winter, I'll go through like I'm just gonna drink tea type of deal. Yeah, I think because of like the time change and everything, and it's like it always feels like nighttime anyway. Like sometimes it's like the coffee's not even, I'm gonna be tired regardless, so I might as well switch to something else for a bit.
Yeah. You got to give yourself breaks on
Yeah.
everything. You know, after states, we'll take a break from lifting for a week. It's good for you. Just let things just kind of heal. Spend that time doing other things.
Yeah.
You know, which it might be taking CrossFit classes, going for jogs, or maybe even doing nothing. You know, with the year that we've had in training, I think a week of doing nothing, unless you've already taken a couple weeks of doing nothing,
Right.
is entirely justifiable for a lot of you. I'm going to try to swing it. I don't know how it'll work out. It might not be the entire time, but when I take my week off post states, I would like to have like at least full days where it's like no social media. Like we're deleting Instagram. You know, if I don't have anything to post on it on this day, like for states related, really, I want to delete it. I don't want it to be on there because that's like another thing, like with caffeine, that I wish I weaned myself off of periodically, like a once a quarter schedule of like, all right, 2 weeks, 1 month, you know, whatever it may be. Yeah, I'm just not on Instagram right now. I'm not on Facebook. the time I did that last year, I took like a week off around the national championships last year, and it was great. I was so crazy productive, and that's probably because I do like probably waste too much time scrolling around on that thing or looking for things.
Right.
Instead, I was just like answering emails and writing things and getting this done and getting ahead of that. And then when the national championships came around, I got it back, because I wanted it for that. And then, boom, it never left. It's funny how it never leaves when it comes back. Do you check your usage at all?
Yes, I have the like report that comes to me weekly, but I don't know. It depends. I mean, I feel like the way that honestly I'm on it mostly at work, just because of like the way that my job is set up. It's a lot of like hurry up and wait, where like I set things up and then I'm waiting for someone to review it, or like waiting on someone else to be available for this and that. So like I kind of front load things, and in between I kind of just sit there, and it's the easiest to like scroll, because you're not like, I try to like read articles or like something like that, but I hate getting interrupted with those things. Like social media is something that I'm like, oh, I can just exit out of this.
That would be annoying if you're like, all right, I'm going to use that time productively to read this book, and it could be fiction or it could be not. It could be on training systems or something. But then, like, if someone needs to bug you every couple minutes, that would be annoying. Yeah. Well, hey, maybe you got to find something, something else that fills the time, but is like more productive in the grand scheme of Miguel. Maybe even it's writing. You're like, all right, I'm just going to take notes on things in my brain, or lesson plan or something, or even like lesson plan for fun. Like, all right, what's a random workout? Let me just scribble. And then if I have to walk away from that, that's okay. It's not a workout I'm actually going to coach, but like it just keeps my mind occupied.
Yeah.
I was doing for a little bit. I'd like to get back into it. Crosswords, like crossword puzzles, and I would like to find like I think I mentioned this before, like a little math book, like not complicated math. Like we're not finding X or Y or anything like that, but just like the old school multiplication. Because like I don't know, I haven't done it in so long, and then this guy's always here, or the calculator on my phone. So it's like, hey, that would just be something to be like, all right, I should still be able to solve these problems, right?
Yeah.
Like I should be able to. But what happens when it's like 3 rows of numbers and all these things? It's like, do I even remember how to do that? And I'm like, I remember how to do some of it, and I'm pretty sure I could figure it out. But I don't know. Some of those things do get tricky. And that's probably how, like I used to sit down with my parents, I'm like, can you help me with my homework? And they're like, I don't remember any of that stuff. And they're like, I can't help you. Like, so it's like, do I want to be in a situation like that now, where it's like, oh, if I had to help someone, I really couldn't. I have no idea how to even read that anymore. So, I think maybe that's like the good key point of it. It's like finding better ways to fill downtime or idle time instead of just one app or 2 apps. Even because like even if like you're not participating, it's like, it's not like some people post all the time and they're writing posts and things like that. But it's like, if you're just like seeing what everybody else is doing, it's like, that's really, really wasteful. And I'm guilty. Guilty of it. But anyways, there's a lot going on in the CrossFit and weightlifting worlds. There's a CrossFit competition going on this weekend. Wadapalooza. Is this the first year that there's 2 Wadapaloozas?
No, I think so. This is the tier cup. I want to say this is year 2 of this type of format. It's at least year 2. I think there's only been 2, maybe 3, but yeah.
And they just tacked on the Wadapalooza brand, or it's those people that are running it.
Yeah, so it's they expanded from just the Miami one to like a SoCal type of one.
Okay,
yeah,
because that's the one I know. It's in January or February. The big
it's like around that time. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and that's like one of the major competitions, which maybe they're going to try to make this one like a major competition. It's cool to see.
Yeah.
There's like big ones popping up that are like mainstays. It almost reminds me of like, okay, for weightlifting, you have the national championships and American Open finals, but then you have the Arnold, which it's like, it's not those, but it's like another big one, you know?
Yeah,
So it's cool
exactly.
that CrossFit's getting those going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Weren't you saying you were going to go to Wadapalooza this coming, or was that someone
Oh,
else?
no, I don't think so.
Oh,
Maybe it was, no, I don't think it was me. I don't know, but there are some cool ones that I'm like, as they move around and kind of go to these different places, I'm interested in like seeing what that experience is like.
yeah.
Like I think the Rogue Invitational is going to be in Scotland.
Yeah.
Like something like that would be cool. Like I want it to be somewhere where I can watch the competition and also like, if I don't feel like watching any events today, like I have a whole other country or like even like
Yeah.
a city to like explore. So yeah, something like
I
that would be cool.
I agree. That the Rogue one in general always intrigues me because they do, it seems more strongman-y or
Yeah.
strength type of event, and that makes it really cool with like CrossFit stuff in it. So it's a completely different flavor than just the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
And even that event that they did, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, with the max deadlift, and Tia deadlifted 410 like 5 months post pregnancy, and it's like that would have been cool to see. You know, like that was like a historic strength moment. You know,
Yeah.
like something you don't see every day, and so and they'll bust out like odd pieces of equipment and things like that. So that one has always intrigued me, but the thing that would get me to go to it is not going to Columbus, Ohio. It would be like you
Right.
said, going to Scotland and seeing the countryside. I bet it's so beautiful. The
Yeah, for
castles,
sure.
and every now and then you find like a big rock, and like all those countries over there, they have like a big rock, and it's like, yeah, Miguel, son of Porter, lifted this over his head many centuries ago, and it's etched into the stone.
Yeah.
And like, there's no video of it, but you have to trust that Miguel, son
Mhm.
of Porter, picked this thing up and lifted over his head. And then you see the strongmen videos where they'll go around trying to lift up all those things, and it's only these huge hulking guys. So it kind of makes you wonder. It's like, what did that guy look like back
Right.
then?
Yeah.
What do you think about those things? Like, I do think that they are believable that someone did. Like, of course, you could write on a rock in your backyard, "I did this with this rock," and someone finds it hundreds of years from now. And they're like, well, we got to take his word for it. I guess it's a heavy rock, but I think that people in those times were just built differently and lived different lives.
Yeah.
It's like that guy that picked it up, he's probably working with cattle and moving stuff
For
all
sure.
the time
Yeah.
and eating so different. And also, he's not on his phone at night. He's
Right.
sleeping at night,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No,
it's
those are
just
always cool.
some
Like
giant.
local fables of like, yeah, things like that, where whether it is true or not is like super cool.
Yeah.
Just to like, oh, it's good that you guys have this lore. And it's even like, if we think about today, it's like, oh, did this person actually push press this weight, or did their knees bend a little bit?
Yeah.
Well, the way that we'll tell it forever is that they got it, like no doubt.
Yeah.
Like, did he get it over his head, or did it slightly get up? And then everyone was like, yeah, good enough. That's
Yep.
really cool.
The second it goes in the record book or the history book, it's solidified. That's it. The
Right.
legend is there. There's no like, but, you know, it's like, nope, it's there. You should have said but back then, but no one did.
Yep.
So now here we are. It is that type of thing kind of gone forever, of like a guy
Yes.
lifts a big rock and then now because like, and it's the phone ruins it a little bit. Cameras kind of ruin it, I guess, on like
For sure.
creating a legend like that.
I mean, it's nice because it's like truth. Because I mean, sometimes there are records and things that it's like, this can never get broken. How did this person even get this amount? And then you look back and you're like, Oh, because they didn't actually get that amount. A couple of years back was the Michael Jordan like defensive stats, where people started rewatching the games from the season, and what was happening was that every home game, if like a steal or like a turnover happened, they would just mark it down for Michael Jordan. Or like if the ball went out of bounds and Michael was on the court, like he didn't cause it or anything, they would like count it as a steal for him. So it went into the record books as like he got this many steals in this season, and like won defensive awards and all of these things. And then people like went back and watched the footage and they're like, he's nowhere near this. How he got nowhere near this amount of steals, this amount of whatever, but he had this like hometown advantage where they would just mark it for him on this like campaign for this, and then that's how they got it. So it's like I'm sure there are a lot of things like that, but yeah, now people can go back as long as there is footage of it. People will always go back and check.
I don't know if I agree with going back and checking.
Yeah, I mean that's the funny part because it's like, what does that do overall? Like he still got it. There's nothing we can do. Now we just know, I guess. But yeah.
Like of course in the moment I don't like what they were doing to get that stat, just giving it to them home field advantage. But now after the fact, it's like it's done. The legend is already there.
Right.
He's like one of the GOATs or the GOAT. It depends on who you talk to. It's like you can never take that away from him. You can't go back and be like, well, actually, if you just take all his stats down because they were all BS at the time, you'll never get the idea out of people's heads that he's not the greatest. Huh. I didn't know wow, that's crazy. And it just goes to show you, and it'll drive you crazy a little bit. Like I go through this a little bit with like the New York State records on like just like trying to verify and everything. It'll drive you absolutely crazy to like try to even think that it's all perfect. Like because like you get the results from like some random local meet and whatnot, and you just gotta hope and like you don't know if maybe that elbow bent and they brought their feet together, but they're inexperienced referees and they just gave the white light. We've all seen it happen many times. It's a shame if that happens on a state record, if it takes away from someone else's record. But there's just no way to make it perfect, unless you have very strict things like you can only break a record if these people are in the chair. But then I've seen those people also make terrible calls.
Yeah, I can't remember what the latest competition was, but there was an unofficial world record, I think in like the clean and jerk and total, that Kadamar Vianeer got, the Venezuelan guy. And the lifts are like super clean. Like there's no doubt in them. Like they do the slow-mo, everything, like, how those pages do. It's like completely clean, but it's like, because it's not like in specifically international competition, you can't get a world record. But then like you watch those world records. I remember this was years ago. Like I think you had me and Shaf on the podcast like years ago. And we talked about like a Kuo Sing Chun world record that she got, where it was like
elbow,
clearly an elbow bend. And it was like, yeah, but that's a world record because you had the refs who are able to give that in this international competition. And it's like, oh, it's not necessarily the class of the refs because they can still just give it when they decide to. It's just like, you just have to be under this realm of, this is the one where it counts.
Yeah. That's it, and then there's situations where it's like, oh, they like that guy or that lady, and so they're going to look at that lift differently. Or, like you try to do your best. Maybe you're tired. Maybe the ref didn't have enough sleep that night. Maybe they need a coffee. They're hungry. Their mind is somewhere else. They're there, but like they got bad news from back home, so it's like you kind of can't have a perfect scenario of like mental capacity for everybody involved. And then the right scenarios, like there's the deadlift record that first Eddie Hall did it. Then Thor broke it, and he's broken it several times. But then there was like, well, wait a minute, the the situation that Eddie broke it or set it in was different than what you're doing now in your home gym. So the environmental factors, on what goes into it. Well, you got all, you're in your home gym, you got your wife there, you got your team, you slept in your bed, you didn't have to travel, the whole thing. These are your plates. Are those plates correct? And the way those guys all like suspect each other of cheating and stuff like that, and call each other out is hilarious. But it must happen. People must. I mean, I know I've seen them. They make fake plates. That's insane to me. That's a whole nother level. What do you have? What has to be going up here, Miguel? What would have to be going on for you personally to be like, okay, I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna film this video, and I'm gonna purposely manufacture hollow plates to make me look a certain, like, what's going on? What storm of thoughts?
It's generally all I can think of is money, right? Where you're like, I do an online program and I want to sell more programs. If I post this video with me lifting these fake weights and I go, all I've been doing is my own programming, you can sign up here. Like, that's literally the only way, other than like, because the acclaim, I guess people, it's one of those things where it's like people are different, right? Where it's like, maybe you want the acclaim, but do you really feel good about it if you know that you didn't? But maybe to some people, that is the boost that they still get from that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's the thing. I would feel so guilty. The amount of sleep I would lose would be insane. And I would also not be able to enjoy it at all, to like, and that would make me not want to talk about it. Like, let's say I went to do the level 4 last year, right? And after the fact, they're like, all right, but James, we really want you to be on the team and do all that stuff, so we're going to give you a pass. I'd be like, no, that's the most horrific thing you could tell me right now. Because one, it would like the illusion that all of this is legit would break down, and I'd be like, well, who else have you done that for? And two, like, I could never like put that badge on my chest and be like, yeah, like all these things, because it makes everything you do after that a lie. Like, oh, I start writing articles and putting my opinion out there and all this and that. And like, it's all a lie, but that would be like horrific. It'd be like, no, I would want to earn it, So I don't understand that mindset of like, let me do this little thing. But then again, like I do understand like in football, like the like, well, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying kind of type of thing, like
right, yeah.
Like, so I guess there's like different levels to it where like it feels icky one way and not the other way.
Yeah, and like head-to-head competition, like like a game, like I would say like basketball, football, soccer, like those are always like, a part of the game is you push the rules, but everyone is on the field or court at the same time, so everyone's doing it. It's very different when it's like you solo on a stage, and someone is deciding whether or not, because then it's like, then everyone can just see it, like it's you in a vacuum, and everyone else will know like, oh, that seemed icky,
and you have to keep retelling the lie for forever, and you can't get it wrong ever, your story, versus like, all right, if I grab your face mask and you don't get to my QB and we win the Super Bowl, I got the ring. Cool. Right, I did my job. They actually told me to do that. And the ref saw it and he's like, well, I'm getting paid to look away. Or they just didn't do their job. So it's like, it's kind of a situation where it's like, my job is to try to push it, the limits of the rules, but their job is to hold me accountable and catch me. It's not my fault they didn't make the call. Right. They got to make the call. And I guess like in lifting, that's the same thing. It's not Quo's fault. She didn't get 3 red lights when her elbow clearly bent. That's the referee's fault, So I think she's completely justified to walk away at that record. She's not going to turn around and be like, actually, guys, I need to get back this medal and all that stuff. So it's less seedy, less dishonest. It's kind of like the other way is like the Liver King guy. Like he has to keep this facade that he's not doing steroids perfect every time. And then like it's weird too, because when you see him talking, you're looking into his eyes and you're like, no, this is different. This is different than grabbing a face mask. You're maybe crazy, probably crazy, and you need this for different reasons. Yeah, it's interesting. But it is sad that like the local legend thing is kind of gone,
Yeah.
in this little town, in New York or whatever, someone did this and it's like, or maybe do you think that there's a possibility that it could still like happen, but people just wouldn't believe it now?
I don't know. I mean, each place has their little legends. Like even the way that sometimes you talk about me or Mike, where I'm like, all right, you're maybe embellishing a little bit, but like
Well,
it is similar where it's like, I mean, I'll even mention names of people from like when I started at the gym, and I'm like, oh yeah, you guys have no clue who I'm talking about, but they did this really cool thing. This is the fastest Fran I've ever seen, and it was this time, and like whatever. And it's like sometimes you don't need the video. It's like we were all there, we all witnessed it, and like yeah, sometimes it is cool. I think that's part of it too, where they talk about like nowadays you get into an argument and sometimes it's good to just have the argument than like someone immediately pull up Google and like prove something. Like sometimes it's just the fun or like, oh, we weren't thinking like this would be the fastest time we've ever seen. So nobody thought like, let me prop up a video. It was just like spur of the moment. And you went out and you did something crazy and everyone was like, whoa, that was insane that we all witnessed that. Like that's still really cool, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah, and because it takes you mentally back to the time when you're like reliving it a little bit. Like I just recently started doing fantasy football again, which my way of doing fantasy football is like I hope they win because I didn't change anything this week because I keep forgetting to do it. I won this last week, but I was talking to my friend and I'm like, yeah, I had Tom Brady on my fantasy football team in 2001, when first time ever doing Yahoo fantasy football all the way back then. And I just picked that guy because I needed another quarterback and I liked his name, Tom Brady. I'm like, well, all right, that's a TB, it's a nice, simple, it just stood out to me. And then I got him on and he won the Super Bowl that year. And then that got us down a rabbit hole of like, who won all the Super Bowls. And then we were trying to remember, and then we're like talking about the lunch table. Like it brings you back to all of that stuff, and then that inevitably always brings us back to, well, I wonder what Kevin's doing, or I wonder what Gary's doing. And, and then eventually we pull up the computer and start stalking people and then finding that stuff out. And then those conversations have led me to reach out to people that come up in those conversations. It actually just happened recently where we had a lady come and do a drop-in, and she's like, "Oh, so you're a Red Dragon," because she went to SUNY Cortland. I guess she had saw my profile on the website, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, oh you went to Cortland." And then we were talking about, I'm like, "Well, do you remember Professor Buckenmeyer or this person, that person?" And then I started to think, I wonder if they're still around. So I went to the SUNY Cortland website. I looked up the faculty. Oh my goodness, they're still there. And there was a little email thing. And I sent at least 3 of them an email. I got one back today, actually. I'm just like, hey, this is what I've been doing. I don't know if you remember me. I really appreciate your class. I hope you're doing well. And I also have some of the old projects still because I do have them in the thing. And one of them got back to me today. They're like, thank you for the email. And they're like, this email is like why I do what I do. They're like, I'm so glad you emailed me just to let me know that, what you've been up to, because like, that's what you hope when you're a teacher, that people will go off and at least still do the stuff, and that they appreciate what you did. So it's a fun thing, and there's a whole other thing of just reaching out to people from the past. Do you ever do you do that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm of course not like far removed from some things. Like I'm still in the same town that I grew up in, and high school was just we just hit 10 years, so it's like I'm not too far removed. But yeah, I mean, people come up and you're like, oh yeah. And then one of my closer friends is he just like officially asked me and a couple other guys that we all hung out with to like be his groomsmen for his wedding next year. And then one of the other ones called me afterwards, and we were talking about it, and we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna see, because this friend is a lot more like ingrained with like a larger group of people that we went to high school with, and we were like, we're gonna see so many people from like this time. And then you're like, oh yeah, I have my circle from high school and like these amount of people that we still keep in contact with, but there are so many others that like maybe you see on social media, maybe you don't. Like some don't even have social media, which is like rare in like my case, where like our age group, but like some people don't, so you don't even know what they're up to. And yeah, like a random text here or there, or that you'll get a message and they're like, oh yeah, I see, like my biggest thing is like I'll see someone out and they'll be like, yeah, I watch your lifting videos and stuff all the time. Or like I mentioned when the games was coming around and Justin Medeiros posted that picture, and it was like at a similar angle where my lifting videos are, and somebody messaged me and was like, this is your gym, right? And I was like, oh yeah. And you never know that people are like looking and like keeping track, but like yeah, it's wild that that happens a lot.
Yeah, it's a small world, and it's funny how time works, where you can, like, it feels like forever that you've been away from something, but then like you could be right back at it, boom,
Yeah,
like
immediately.
immediately. Like, it's funny you say you're 10 years removed from high school coming up, and like that, I'm gonna, next year I'll be 20 years removed from it, and it's
Yeah.
like, that's crazy, because like I remember when I was at SUNY Cortland, we went back to the high school to do like some internship stuff during the
Hmm.
PE classes, and it was just like going back into another world. And you're like, oh, I remember that's where we used to sit and for lunch and,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And then you would see like the teachers, and that wasn't even that far removed from that. Like I graduated in 2006 from high school, and this would have been like 2010, 11. So
Yep.
not that far, but it felt like a million years.
Hmm.
And so even now, like it is weird when I go back to my hometown and like drive by the high school, and every now and then I'll do this thing where I'll like cruise around town and like drive into the school parking lot and
Yeah.
go to the sports fields, and I'm like, look at how much it's changed. Which it's all changed for the better. It's like sometimes I'm driving around, I'm like, you guys got that now? You got
Right. Yeah.
parking spaces for seniors and all this stuff. You fixed the tennis courts. We used to have to play tennis with giant puddles up by front of
Yeah.
the net.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you guys got cool stuff now. Like even at Cortland, they have, like, right after I left, they started construction on a giant sports complex that this was gonna be like you just live there all day. It had an indoor track, gyms, food court, all this stuff. And it's like, yes, that's exactly where we would have hung out, except we were forced to hang out in like the lobby of the professional
Yeah.
studies building and
Right.
other stuff. So I'm glad it's I'm glad it is better now. And then
Hmm.
some things never change. I was talking to the drop-in about one of the professors who, when I was going there in 2011, 2012, finishing up, his mission was to get the cardio equipment in the fitness centers hooked up to the electric grid with this thing that, like, all the time on the treadmill would help power the building.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that to us before. Yeah.
Yeah. And that he was telling me that, and she told me she graduated in like 2001, 2002, so ahead of me. And she's like, "Oh yeah, he was talking about that back then
Yeah.
too." And I'm like, "All right, so that wasn't a new project." And
Hmm.
and now it makes me wonder. I'm like, have they done it yet? I kind of don't think they have, but I just think that this was a thing that he was like hyper focused on, and it
Yeah.
was going to be his mission in life to hook this one building up to the electric grid somehow. And because he had mathematically figured out how all the time spent on the treadmills, because that's all anyone ever wanted. The treadmills were always filled,
Yeah.
and the bikes and the cardio equipment. And he's like, I'm pretty sure we could save money on the electric bill if we did this. Um, and another professor was obsessed with 5-hour energy drinks.
Mm.
Because his whole thing was like, there's no energy in it. Like, energy comes from calories. There's no calories in it. So
Mm.
like, and like this has been like a life mission of like
Yeah.
taking down big 5 hour energy. And that would be, it was one of those things where it's like, you know how like you have like your professors, like after like a little while, you can figure out if we want to set him off and get
Oh
him
yeah,
going on a
for
tangent,
sure. Yeah.
just put that 5 hour energy drink right at the front of your desk and sit up front, because he'll walk by and he's gonna see it, and then that's 20 minutes of class right there. You
Mhm.
know, if we even recover from that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I
Yeah.
miss things like that. Did you ever any like teachers that had quirks where you're like, let's ruin class today?
Yeah.
Essentially.
And they were very aware. Where like we had a teacher that I ended up having in high school like 3 separate years. Um, but yeah, you would know exactly what things to say, and he'd be like, "Guys, we're not doing this again," and then he'd be like, "But like," and then we just get going, and like he fully knew, but he was like, "This is fine. We got enough days to make up." He would
Yeah.
constantly be like, "All right, we have this many days until the test, so we just have to make sure that we get this amount of time in with the curriculum," and like he'd be like, "We can waste today. Okay, let's get into it."
Oh, that's it. It's great. It's a funny thing when there's no self control,
Yeah.
you know, and they have to do that. You know, I had I had one professor who she would just tell us about her personal life. Like she'd come in and she had a fight with her husband or her daughter or something, and she's like, "Guys, I need a therapy day. Let's talk." And it's like, "All right, fine."
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't do the homework either. So if
Yeah.
you're not going to check or say it, you can talk about whatever you want, because I didn't come prepared either." So
Yeah.
we're both in the same situation. It's fun. The past is a fun thing. You got to learn from it, you know.
Right.
And you can draw a lot of cool experiences back that you could almost like reuse or repurpose. You know, like you can always dig back into your own story and be like, what can I use from that to make myself better today, because I've gotten too far away from that thing. I don't have any examples personally
Yeah.
off the top of my head, but it is a cool concept to think about, you know, to kind of go back and like, even sometimes I'll go back through old school projects and I'm like, well, maybe this would be something cool to try at the gym, you know, or like some of the classes that I took were like, oh, look at this warm up of this activity we did. Maybe I'll try that here. Or yeah, agility drills. Here's the
Hmm.
T thing, you know, because you forget about things after a while. And
Yep.
especially when you start to specialize into one area. Even though CrossFit's not supposed to specialize, you can specialize in CrossFit now. It's a funny thing. Back to the the Rogue is coming up, Rogue Invitational. I will watch that one. I have no idea when it's happening, but I will watch it. I have no idea what's going on with this Wadapalooza one, and then I think that's it. Right, the CrossFit season's done after that.
Well, it depends on what we define as the season, right?
Yeah,
Because I mean, I guess
yeah.
like Wadapalooza still isn't technically CrossFit.
Hmm.
Like that's a separate thing.
Okay, you get no points or something
No,
for
no.
doing that.
So like, because yeah, this one is a team comp. I think even the individual ones, they don't like mean anything. Like you
Yeah.
can't qualify via. Um, so I guess those are separate. Because if we, yeah, I think, yeah, but I think overall you're right. I think we have this, and then the World Fitness Project has their final in
Mhm.
Copenhagen.
Yep.
Um, I can't remember if that's before the end of the year or like early next year. I want to say
It,
it's like December.
yeah, it's got to be December because I feel like they'd want to finish a full
Right. Yeah.
calendar year. Okay, and
Um,
there's typically nothing going on in December, so that's a good time to put it.
right. Yeah. So yeah, pretty much those things, and then yeah, it's nice to like not have to tune in to CrossFit events
Yeah.
and like passively tune in. Like it's I like we were talking about with this whole thing of like kind of like the touring of it all, where it's almost like tennis and you can like, hey, I like this event itself. so I will
Yeah.
watch this one. I don't really like the when they play on clay, so I'll skip this or that. And it's
Yeah.
nice to have like that many CrossFit events where it's like I can tune in for this one. I cannot tune in for this one. I just know that more are coming. There isn't just like there's one and you have
Yeah.
to tune in because there's one.
Yeah.
So
And then
it's
you have
been
to
nice to
wait
like
such a long time
right.
for it to happen again.
So yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah, it's a nice way to it's a nice way to kind of break up the year, and like, all right, on a random Saturday, oh, this event's happening. I didn't know. But then on other Saturdays, there's nothing going on. And
Mhm.
right after the games, it kind of felt weird when I'm like, well, when's the next thing now? Like there's
Yeah,
nothing that's kind of put on just running in the background. But at least you always have all the old videos too that like you just watch
right.
that like they do a good job now of being like, well, here's just this one event,
Mhm.
or I did find a YouTube channel that was only they had only chopped in the final heats, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's the one I want to see because
Mhm.
I I don't want to see heat 4. I want to see just heat 1 when Tia's
Yeah.
going or someone else that I know who they are and they're gonna win. So it's fun that way. Did you see his thing with the World Fitness Project where the GHD fell apart?
Yeah, I did see that.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I mean it's good he didn't get hurt. I'm trying to think about how did that happen because I've put together all the GHDs we have at the gym, and I'm trying to think of how did that thing fall off? Like
Mhm.
ours are so sturdy that like when people get weird about like screwing them in, I'm like it
Yeah.
ain't going anywhere.
Right.
Like it's like if we can get it undone, but even then, like it doesn't have to lock in because it's on a beam.
Yep.
It's not going to slide. So I don't even know. It was a weird looking GHD too. So maybe that was
Mhm.
part of it.
Yeah. And I don't know overall if you like watched the event. I didn't like watch it in a video, but like the way that people do GHDs these days, like I was wondering if that was a part of it. Like
Oh,
the
maybe.
angles in which people's bodies are, where I'm like, is the GHD even, does it even know that you might do that? Where
Yeah, I
like
don't
your
know.
knees are bent and you're like, I don't know, like sometimes it like looks weird and I'm like, I wonder if that's part of it.
The GHD setup, it's like I don't know. There's always problems with it. Like
Yeah.
I don't know why there can't be a common standard. I don't know why athletes refuse to just do it the way, like I don't know. Like you see people who like their butts on different parts of the pads, their knees are bent and they're just laying back. I'm like I feel like you had to try that. Like you like
Yeah.
the most intuitive way is you get on and you lay back and your knees are completely straight and you're just in a half moon. So in
Mhm.
order to get up on it with your butt in front of the center of the platform with your knees bent, and then you're just going to lay back and then come up, you had to have tried to do that because
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone get on it and not immediately just open up.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Is the whole GHG debacle, like I'm not talking about it falling apart, but just that there's never it I would just get rid of it. Like just stop programming it. Like is this even need to be done anymore?
Yeah, I
Is this
think
partly athlete and coach fault too, in addition to event standards?
yeah, I think it's a game, right? Where it's like you're racing. So a
Yeah.
longer person is like, how do I shorten my range of motion? But I think they did. I was watching not the heat where the GHD fell apart, but I was watching one of the other heats and they were talking about the standards. I can't remember what it was, but it was a super simple of like, whatever. You want to bend your knee, here's why it doesn't make too much of a difference. And they were like, this is just the easiest because it's like you say this and for different people that means different things. So it was like a very simple like, here's the standard, whatever, it evens out. I because were
Yeah.
they using a med ball too?
Um I don't think so because when he fell, he wasn't holding on to one.
Mm, yeah,
So yeah,
but
I don't know.
yeah,
It just seems like okay, we have so many exercises and it does become a problem where even if we do have so many exercises and so many variations, if you were to start programming after a while you'd be like, wait, I'm only using the same 5 all the time,
Yeah.
or their variations, and then eventually you're like, wait, what could we do here? Like we need another exercise. Even though we have 50 of them, we need another exercise, and I can't think of one that would work here. So it's like, but I don't know. Like, what is their purpose? What do we need them for? Like,
Yeah.
well, we should test squatting. We should test picking things up, the Olympic lifts, deadlifts, pressing, a lot of gymnastics. But I don't know if like it always seems like it's been an obscure thing regardless. Like, is it this true expression of power or abs, or is it just getting so funky that like you don't need it and it's no different than any other type of like kind of gimmicky thing?
Right. Yeah.
Kind of like a pullover. Like I said, you think the pullovers are cool, but it's like, all right, that's just because people are getting bored of muscle ups. All right, here's a good analogy. Are we getting into, with CrossFit programming, are we getting into the Jurassic Park situation where in the beginning, movie 1, they got regular dinosaurs? It's amazing. It blows people's minds. But then by the time you get to movie 7, they're saying, well, people are bored of dinosaurs and we need to make hybrids, which are these incredibly dangerous creatures. But I know in the real world if we had a brontosaurus, it would never be old,
Right.
because people are still, amazed when they go to see regular animals in the zoo and stuff like that. Or how about the fact that the other day when we left Barbell Club, there was a little green frog in the parking lot, and a lot of us stopped, and one of us took a photograph of it. That was Chris. So like we were all amazed at this little frog. If we walked out and we saw a brontosaurus outside the building every day, it would never get old. You'd just be like, eventually, I hope it doesn't step on my car. So I don't believe the premise in the movie, but I think, is that what's happening kind of in CrossFit, where we had classic CrossFit, so to say, and then you start to branch out, but then it starts to become a circus because you have to keep everyone, the test has to keep getting more elaborate, and you also have to keep people entertained, I guess. Like we can't just do regular handstand walks. It has to be this thing. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it has to go in cycles, right? I think you have to go crazy because people are so used to what they're seeing, and you go crazy for a couple of years, right? Because no matter what you do, people are going to complain. So you go crazy for a couple of years, and they're like, can't you guys just do the good old fashioned? And you're like, yes, that's exactly what we're actually planning on doing. We're going to do a really simple games where it's just the basic movements. And you see that people can go so much faster. Like, they don't do a lot of like the girls' workouts. I think just in Wadapalooza, what just happened, Pat Vellner had a 55-second Isabel or something.
PR or just in general?
Yeah, like I think that was one of the events. They did Grace and Isabel and 55 seconds. And it's like, he probably hasn't done Isabel in years.
Yeah.
And has probably gotten so far away from it, but it's like, it's cool to see people come back to it. And then you're like, oh yeah, even without doing this every year, everyone's still getting faster and stronger. And so it's like, you kind of have to go away from it to come back and then have people be like, oh yeah, this is cool again. Yeah. As long as we don't see it every year. So you have to kind of like trick people by like, do something crazy. And then they're like, that's dumb, I think. And then you go back to the basic. And then people get sick of basic, and then you have to mix it up for a year or two, and then you go back.
The 55 seconds is legit. So like sub 1 minute. I think that video of Eddie Hall doing it, he was around 50 something seconds. So that's really good for not being the strongest man in the world, just super fit. I'd like to see a video of that. He had to have gone
I'm gonna try
unbroken, right? Did he go unbroken?
For sure.
That's that, and he had the fastest score out of anybody, right?
I just saw the post where it was 55 seconds, and based on like, I just saw a picture, and based on like everyone's face, he probably like smoked the other person.
Okay.
And people were like, that's insane.
Yeah, that's the fastest I've ever seen it done in person was at the 2013 Beast of the East. A guy did it in 104. And that was impressive back then. Now he was short but huge at the same time.
Yeah.
He was like maybe like 5'6", but like wide. Like you could tell like he was some kind of football or powerlifting background, and he just beasted through it. So yeah, that's good for Pat Fellner. That's legit. Especially at his age, not
Right.
that age.
Yeah.
Age is just a number, but still, like being a Masters athlete now, right? He's a Masters, I
Yeah.
think.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's incredible. I don't have to look that up. Um, so it's tough with events like that. Like every year for states, I have a giant list of things that we could improve upon and enhance the event. But then I also have things I'm like, we should get rid of that and just every year, especially on the build up, I'm like, can we just simplify things? Can we
Mhm.
just and we have simplified things. Like an example of how it could be even more kind of like complicated or crazy is USAW does have like a long list of youth age groups and weight classes within that, and that's it's a lot of medals,
Yeah.
and it's like, all right, you're the only person in this, so we just keep it simple by having just one set of weight classes for all the youth, and like if you're
Yeah.
a real little guy, you're just going to fall under the lightest one, but but the thing is you're going to get bigger,
Mhm.
so eventually you'll go up through all through all of them. So yeah, it's from an event running perspective, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. That's why when everyone gives people griefs about running like events and stuff, I'm like, have you run one? Like, and I mean like really run one, not just like, all right, other people are doing stuff for you and you're kind of just hanging
Yeah.
around and like
Yeah.
you'll move a box here and there, whatnot. Like, are you the one that's like dealing with everybody and planning everything and the testing and stuff? Especially like for CrossFit, like you should test things, and that's hard too.
Mhm.
Things get leaked, or you have an unfortunate situation where like it went well in testing, but then in application with so many bodies in the space, you're like, crap, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it happens all the time. But so yeah, that was an interesting thing that I saw that happened. It's good that he wasn't hurt. I think that was Austin
Yeah.
Hatfield.
Yeah.
Is that his last name, Hatfield?
Mhm.
Yep, I'm starting to learn their names. Austin. There's Dallin Pepper, which I saw a photo of him. They edited on a pepper over his head, and I don't know why it worked. I was like, that's super cool. He should put that on a T-shirt. Like, it looked goofy, but not. Did you see this pepper
Yeah.
head thing?
No,
Who
I
did
didn't
that?
see it.
Was that Justin Medeiros that did that on his podcast?
I don't know. I didn't see it, but
They have their Boys Interrupted thing, and
yeah.
maybe that's why it popped up on my thing but they made that, and I'm like, you know what, it works. And maybe we're going into an era of like gimmicks and hats and stuff like that, because you have
Right.
Lydia Fish with the
Yeah.
fish
Yeah.
thing, and like all these athletes are doing things now. They're peacocking. They're like, hey, look at
Mhm.
me, look at this type of thing. You got Colton Mertens with the pigs. So
Yeah.
like everyone has like their own mascot now, kind of, or at least a bunch of them do.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
If that dude made a bunch of little pepper plushies with like his face image on it, he'd sell out.
Yeah.
I think he would. I wouldn't buy one. I'm not that big of a fan, but I just think that people would buy it.
Yeah.
Would you buy any of those?
No. But
You wouldn't buy the Lydia Fish head?
no, I would totally wear one if I came across it.
Mm-hmm.
Buy one is crazy.
It's at least $50,
Not
right?
Yeah, like I mean, you could probably get them off like Amazon or something separate of that and just be like, all right, cool. But like at the event, it's like crazy price. Or like
Yeah.
now that it's a thing, but no, it would be cool to like I would definitely throw on a fish hat for sure.
Yeah.
Because that one's like low maintenance.
Yeah, it's low maintenance. It's fun. It's
Yeah.
an easy in and out. You're not painting your face and other stuff. That'd be a fun one.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Like, I don't know anything about her. I'm just like a semi fan because of the fish head. That's it. So it's like
She has really, really cool videos. Obviously, like I watch a lot of training think tank stuff. Which I think I mentioned her like last chance qualifier video that they released. That one was really cool. So I've like seen her across things. So it's like it's cool that like she made it and it became like a big deal.
Yeah.
But they have like a few things with her where it's like these phrases and stuff that like come up in a video that just become a bigger thing over time. So that, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think it's a smart way of doing like your marketing and stuff
For
like
sure.
that. Like if you have a quirky athlete, like lean into that, and like if she says something, that's cool like that, you can use it, and then it just makes the fans love her even more,
Yeah.
like and she came to our gym, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, all right. All right. So we're definitely a fan. She
Yeah.
came to Albany Cross, yeah, Albany CrossFit. Um, so yeah, all the events, all that stuff going on. I guess the other big thing is the IWF adding weight classes to the Olympics, which I don't even think they had announced how many we were going to get. All right, so we used to have 8. We had 10 weight classes, and then 8 weight classes were contested, right, from the last category. So they cut it down to 8 weight classes total. So I would assume, oh boy, like were we going to get 5 or 6, and they're going to up it by 2, or
I think, was it not 5 classes last time?
oh, maybe it was
I'm trying to think. So men's 61, 73, 89.
96.
Mm, oh, so they did skip 90. Wait, but okay, so not 96, but it was 102 and then
Oh,
109 still? Was it 109 plus?
yeah, yep, 109, 109 plus.
So
Yep.
65, 73, 89, 102, and then plus. So there were 5
Okay,
last
5.
time.
5 out of 10.
Yeah.
And so now we drop down the total to 8. So if they were going to do 5 again, that means, and they added 2, we're going to take 7 and leave 1 weight class out. That kind of seems weird.
Yeah, it's odd because their play with the 8 was to get like 8.
Yeah,
Like I think they were like, come on, there are less. And they were like,
yeah.
we don't care.
And what an fu that would be, to be like, we'll take 7. You cut
Yeah.
cut 1. That'd be weird. So maybe they were gonna get 4, and now the IOC is like, you'll get 6.
Yeah.
We'll agree to 6. That kind of seems doable, right?
It's interesting, and everyone kind of knew already what the classes would be, like if you were gonna pick them. Um, so it's interesting because I'm like, which one or two would they add and where?
Yeah,
Because I think it's like the lightest weight class. I think you cut that always. I think that's just standard. So like men's 60 wouldn't go.
yeah.
And then I guess because it's 110 and 110 plus.
Those gotta go, or historically they always go.
But I think what yeah. Oh yeah,
Because if
because
they,
it's 8 now. Because yeah.
yeah,
So it would make sense to like, because then you cut 96 so that you can send 102 and then just make it plus. Uh,
and there is no 102 anymore. It's just
right.
94. We got a big gap.
Yeah.
Which if we look at it, so all right, we got 8 classes: 60, 65, 71, 79, 88, 94, 110, 110 plus. We're saying they're probably going to take 110 and 110 plus. That's a given, I think.
I think definitely, well, you definitely have to do plus. I think 110 is, well, yeah, at this point, you do have to take 110 because the gap is just too big.
Yeah.
Um,
And you're going to take 65.
yeah.
I think you take 88. If you took 89 before, 88 kind of seems, that middleweight. But I don't know if you take 94. But then again, does the gap necessitate the need to take 94?
I think they did 94 on purpose, not to be like athlete specific bias,
Mhm.
But I think it was like, hey, if we can make these 89s just bump up a little bit, we can see some crazy weights. So I think 94 is a definite because that's where Carlos Nassar was going.
Yep. And it is a historic weight class. It's
Right.
like been around before.
I think I would take two of the 70s.
71 and 79.
I think so.
Boy, getting rid of that 88 hurts a little bit though.
Yeah. But I think you do that because just if you were an 89, just go up a couple kilos.
Yeah. And you're going to be right. And if you are 86, 87 kilos, you can get up to 94,
Right.
no problem. You might be at the lower end, but that might even matter because of the talent pool
Yeah.
that we got. If you're on the low end of 88, you should probably be 79 anyways, be at the top end of
Right.
that. Boy, if they would have just brought back the 85 kilo class, that was a beautiful class.
Yeah.
85.
But again, yeah, it's interesting what they're going to do now. Like I don't even know if them adding classes is necessarily a good thing. Because now I feel like the people who just changed the weight classes are like, should we change them again?
And they don't even know. Like they don't even know if their weight
Yeah.
classes.
So, because everyone has been playing, I mean, Worlds is next month in
Yeah,
Norway.
typically October,
So
November. Yeah.
everyone was just starting to go like, all right, these are going to be, this is like the equivalent of that Columbia Worlds to start the block off last time,
Yeah.
where it's like, everyone's like, this is the setting of the stage. Start working towards the weight class that you want to get Olympic in. Things will change across the time, but like start to do that. And now they're like, oh, should I even make this change? It might make it easier for some countries though, where like, let's say, was it Indonesia? Where are they from? Indonesia. Ramat and Rizki, they were both 73s, number
Mhm.
1 and 2 in the world. And after
That-
the classes changed, they're like, oh, so they both have to go 79. And then you can again only take one. Where if you get two categories in the 70s,
one
have
goes
one
up,
go
one goes.
79, make one go 73, and now your country gets two possible number ones
Yeah.
instead of like an infighting type deal.
That is the benefit of having those classes so close. And especially if you have a big pool, like China can do a lot, I feel, with this, with just the number of athletes I would expect they have across all the classes.
Yeah.
Um, and it might even be more an advantage for them for the women for the women's classes. So like for the women, we've got 48, 53, 58, 63, 69, 77, 86, 86 plus. I don't know. I don't know about dropping 48. Because that
Right.
has been an Olympic class before. That's a big one. I could see skipping 53 and keeping 58. Ooh, this is a hard one
Yeah.
for the women's classes,
Because the way
especially
that it
because
was,
some of them are historic classes again.
yeah.
Like they brought back ones that have been used several times.
So the way that it was looking was that it was going to be skip 48 and then
Mm.
start at 53 as Olympic class and then go every other the way that they usually do. But yeah, adding in ones is interesting because you have like Olivia Reeves, who gold medalist as a 71 was going to have to go up to 77. And she just got a couple world records as a 69 because that's an easier choice. But if it
Yeah.
wasn't going to be an Olympic class, you would just build up and wait. But now if they add in 69, what does she do?
I think she's got to look at the competition, right? At that point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And then, like, what does that mean for Team USA, right? Where that would force someone like Maddie Rogers to go up to 86 or 87, whichever one it is, instead of like,
86.
yeah, instead of going 77, because Olivia's already taking 77.
And you know what? That might not be bad for either one. I don't know, like if they're able to get mid, like it right now she's 69, but if she was able to get like 74 or 73 kilos and be a little heavier, would that lead to bigger performance for her? And for Maddie's been doing it for a while, and she's also getting older by sports standards. Would it just be better just to go up and not have to do the stress of a cut or other things like that?
Well, the thing with Maddie is that she's always been forced to go heavier. So she
Mm-hmm.
would always weigh in light as like an 86.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's interesting. And as Worlds is coming up, I think I can't remember if they already showed what they were signed up as, because they did send out start lists. Um, so I don't know if Olivia was already signed up as a 77 for this go around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, overall, I think they have until what, December to decide what those Olympic classes are.
Okay, so it's in the IWF's uh, the ball's in their court now.
Yeah. So now that they know here are the number of Olympic classes that you're getting, they have to decide which of those Olympic classes are the
Okay.
Olympic classes by a certain time.
Yeah, so if it is one, it should be the end of the year. Like, let's just
Yeah,
get this done
for
with.
sure.
I totally foresee them waiting for after Worlds and maybe even using some of that data to make this decision.
Yeah.
Who shows up, who does what. Because also you don't want to like announce it now and then have people start to change
Shift
all their
and do
stuff.
weird stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's best for the athletes and everybody if you just don't do it till after, and then maybe just look at how things went and then make a decision December something.
Yeah.
So do we think they're gonna keep 86 plus? There's just it's no way around it.
Yeah.
80,
The pluses have to, for sure.
86 is staying, probably, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Why do I feel like you get rid of that one?
I think it's a person thing. Like, again, I think it's individuals that they're like, no, we need this person to
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah, that is true. We need them on the poster. Come on,
Yeah.
I 69 6. All right, we have four more to play with. So 48's probably out.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're 48 going up to they did put that 53 there.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the old weight classes were.
It was 49 was the Olympic class.
For,
So it was
49
45, 49.
or 45 49. What was above 40 49?
55.
55.
Yeah.
So this is not this is a consistent small jump you'd have to go up.
Yeah.
That's easy. So I think 53 is probably in, right?
Yeah.
So 53. We got three more to spend. Oh boy. You could do the two. It's not as cut and dry as the men's
Yeah.
the men's classes, because if you go 58 63, then you have a giant gap to 77. If you go 63 69, get two in the 60s, then it's a 10 kilo jump from 53 to 63.
Yeah.
Maybe you just need 58 69 77, and it's 63's out, but 64 was a big class last time.
Right. And that's why I think, because again, originally it looked like the way that they were going to choose was going to be, what is it? So not 48, 53, 63, 77, 86 and plus, where now I think like the 60s is a similar situation to the men's 70s, where I think you just go double in the 60s. So go 63 and 69 and 77.
So so our 6 classes are 53, 63, 69, 77, 86, 86 plus.
Yeah.
Gonna say goodbye to 58 and 48. Yeah, it's not as clean as we'd want it.
Right. Yeah, the adding in the amount that they added in too just made it weird. But I think based on what they were already going to choose and then just adding in the extras, I think that's the way you'll have to do it.
Yeah. And it's still the same number of athletes too. So they're adding
Yeah, that was also a
classes.
weird part.
I think it's 120 total,
Yeah,
men and women. So 60 men, 60 women have to now. That's 10 per class, I guess.
Yep.
There's your session. So yeah, they weren't going to give you more people.
Which means they'll also probably follow the same qualifying parameters as last time, which was kind of brutal.
Yeah.
And now it's like a strict, like it was like, all right, you have to get top 10 plus a little bit of wiggle room depending on, whatever. But now it's like, oh, you 100% have to be within that top 8 to make sure, because countries are going to get in based on like continental and based off like home country. Like the US is going to get extra spots if we need them. Most likely, like on the men's side, we're going to get a couple extra.
Well, that's good. We're happy about that, because
Yeah.
that'll also spread the love on like more Olympians, more,
Yep.
And then that will definitely help some people's careers and situations, I imagine.
For sure. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I want to see, because that post came out on what, Friday?
Think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably starting Monday, we'll start to hear like chirpings of like what people are theorizing and all that. Because yeah, it's interesting.
Everyone's crunching the numbers right now. Well, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Maybe like we're saying for the men 65, 71, 79, 94, 110, 110 plus. For the women 53, 63, 69, 77, 86, 86 plus from our senior IWF analysis correspondent Miguel Porter. You put out like a weekly Porter's performers on what you think the IWF. You see, it'll start off as what you think they're gonna do, and it'll be like little graphics and stuff that you make. But then eventually it'll be you on the camera on like what the IWF needs to do and whatnot, and then talking about
the green screen.
Yeah, that's how it always starts, right?
Yeah,
it always starts very, very innocent, and then next it goes into and then it'll branch off on like just all of your rants about the IWF and like I can't believe they did this. I can't believe this rule. They changed this rule in the technical officials manual, which I found out they changed rules and whatnot, and there's like really no announcement. You're just supposed to reread it every now and then, and you'll find out.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like people it's really that where they're like, there's no announcement. You just have to read it. You literally they make it so that people have to read it. And they're like, so apparently this doesn't matter anymore, or they're working on this and that. Yeah.
Yeah, I typically find out about those things for states. Like we've had some things changed for the singlet, where now it's an automatic deduction of the singlet weight from your body weight, no matter what. Versus it used to be if you weighed in, let's say if you weighed in at 60.2, and we would just write down 60, and that's what goes in the thing. But when they have this new thing called Q points, which it's like Sinclair, but like a little more finely tuned. You want the exact body weight of the person in there. So now everybody gets a deduction, which means, let's say if if you were on the line, you could weigh under now with the deduction, which means now you need to add weight. So there's all these things changed with the weigh-ins. And I'm like, when did they announce that? And it's like, no, you find out, like they find out when nationals is coming up, and someone reads
so
the
that's
rule book.
interesting. So let's say I was meant to be a 65, but with my singlet on, I weigh 60.1 something. But you will then take away the weight for the singlet, and I would be under 60 technically.
So you've missed weight. Yeah.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah. So that's one of those things where I'm like, I got to make sure the weigh-in people know this. You know?
Yeah, that's wow. Yeah.
And which luckily Sarah and Michelle are doing all the weigh-ins for the women, so they know this. They'll do that. On the men's day, it'll be a little bit different. But yeah, it's just funny. Like every year, like when did that change? It's like, well, they updated the manual and whatnot. I'm like, well, does the IWF post the thing like, hey, everybody should read it? They don't. So it's an interesting thing. I don't. Are other sports like that? Or like when there's I feel like when there's a new football rule, it's in the news.
Yeah. But I mean, like it's a bigger, like they have ESPN for that, where that is people's jobs, where they're like, the second something changes, like I need to be in there. I guess if we had the same coverage.
Yeah, but we don't have that coverage. But it's just an interesting thing, because then I'm wondering, I'm like, how in the world did anyone find out? Like, because it kind of feels like you'd have to read it, but then you'd have to notice that there's a change. Although I bet they must, when I haven't downloaded the new one, but there must be like a sheet in the beginning that says amendments or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be psychotic if they're like, we just released it and it's in there somewhere. It's like you have to find it, and then notice that it's different. Yeah,
like we have states coming up. I mean, think about how many. This is kind of like state championship, I feel like, season. Think about how many states aren't gonna essentially like do it because they don't know. So we're back to like the records thing where it's like, oh, should this count for this weight class or should it be this weight class?
Yeah.
And that's just true. A part of it where you're like, whatever.
Yeah, because like if you look at our entry form, I have in there the updated weigh-in protocol when they said you got to wear your singlet and all that stuff. And then I had no idea that anything changed. And we wrote that last October, and then it was published in January. So it's like, unless someone says like, oh, it's changed. And the nice thing is like, that's an easy change. It's something you kind of can't argue with. It's like if you're like, oh, well, it's on the entry form. Like, well, yes, but USAW is not doing it that way anymore. Like that overrides the IWF and USAW. But yeah, I wouldn't have known, which means I would have just done what you said. I would have just, here's our normal protocol. If let's say if you're doing the weigh-in, I'm like, all right, Miguel, here's what you got to do. Because I would not have known had Michelle not gone to nationals and then learned a new way, and then she brought it up at one of our meetings, like, oh, did you guys know this changed? Like, no,
right?
So it's an interesting thing for sure. They keep changing stuff on the weigh-ins.
Yeah,
quite a bit. One last little topic here. Making mistakes. They happen. I had two big mistakes in coaching my classes last week. And like do you like and it's funny because two of us made a mistake on the same workout. And it was that 20-minute AMRAP of calorie row, 20 or 16 calorie row, 50-foot farmer's carry. And every round you add 50 feet to the farmer's carry.
Okay.
Well, in the morning, when Schaff blew up the workout on the computer, it cut off the part about adding 50 feet. So for his class, they just did the same 50 feet for 20 minutes without adding it every round. So he made that mistake in that class. And then for the same workout, I kept telling people, you count a rep for the 50-foot or for the farmer's carry down and back. 50 feet equals one rep.
Yeah.
But it was really 25 feet equals one rep. So like that workout, just like it got everybody like, it got me, And then a couple days later, for the Service Cup Workout 4, I'm coaching the 4 o'clock class. It's a pretty decent sized class for a Thursday at 4 o'clock, and everything's going well. And I finish at 5:13, and I'm like, we got it, perfect, done. But class ends at 5 because it's 4 to 5.
Yeah.
So in my head, I had it all timed out, and I even looked at the clock when it said 4:35, and I'm like, I have so much time
Yeah.
because I had it in my head. I was going up to finish before or at 5:15. And at one point, I guess Pat had said to Josh, "Oh, I guess you guys are going to go over." And Josh said that he was like, "Yeah, like he was thinking the same thing I was. We're ending at
Yeah.
5:15, you know." And I've never done that before where I always know 4 ends at 5, but for whatever reason on this day, we were just going, and like I told myself at some point, look at all the time you have. I looked at the
Yeah.
big clock, and then there was no sense of urgency, and then I just did more coaching. I like,
Yep.
all right, let's go through the weight progressions together and stuff. And I have no idea how it happened. Like it's just what I told myself that day.
Yeah.
So it's like, mistakes happen all the time, and we're going to be the ones that notice it more often. Well, have you made any like quote mistakes or something where you're like, I got that wrong, or I messed that up? And
Maybe not in that sense per se. Maybe in terms of like, I mean, the thing that's coming to my head right now is Shatter Slam, and me just constantly.
oh yeah,
It was 100% me telling Mike what the reps were, like the whole week and the whole day, and then figuring out like, oh, I was off. I couldn't check my phone, so I was just going off of what was in my head. So there's that. But I guess like for me, like mistakes that I've made is like trying to like, I don't know, like you're going for one reaction within a person and you get another, if
Mhm.
that makes sense, where you're
Yeah,
like, oh, this will pull some intensity out of this person, or like this will be a good workout for them, and then you like bury them and you're like, oh, my bad.
yeah,
I've definitely had some of those where it's like throttle wise, like, oh, either I may have pushed you too hard today, or like I may have gone too soft on you today, and I like it was very apparent, like based on like stimulus wise, where I'm like, oh, that's on me. I 100% told you to do this, and it was incorrect.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I've had more of those where I'm like, I'm thinking that this will take you this amount of time, and it took you way longer. Or like, oh, you flew through that. I probably should have had you add more reps or like do this instead.
yeah, yeah. That's a really easy one to do, and we all do that on a regular basis. It's going to happen, especially if you coach X amount of classes in a week. You're going to get at least one instance of
Yeah.
that happening, where it's like, and sometimes, and people will fool you sometimes on the practice rounds and other things. They're going so great, and you may not realize that like once we do put it all together, they can't fake it anymore.
Yeah.
Not that they are faking it. It's just they just run out of steam, or you got the numbers wrong. You're like, okay, let's do this many calories to sub for this movement, and then you're like, well, oh crap, I thought it would take this much, or it should take this much, but they're still going to let up a little bit during the workout, and now
Yeah.
it's taking a little bit too long, so to say. So yeah, it's a really easy thing to happen, and most of the time, the best thing is just to laugh about it and move on and learn from it. Especially like in that situation, that's one more piece of like learning about that athlete that you did, that like, all right, we won't make that mistake again next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though there are some people where it's like you're always encouraging them to do a little more, but they never want to.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you get your way one time and you're like, oh gosh, they were right. But then other
Yeah.
times
Right.
give them what they want and they completely smoke it. And I'm like, where's the middle
Yeah.
ground here? Why can't but the thing is it changes day to day, you know. Especially when their answer is always to go on the safer side, you know.
Yeah.
They're like, I just want to get a workout in a day, blah blah blah, you know. And you're like, but
Yeah. And then the day you finally convince them, it goes wrong, and you're like, I'll never be able to convince them ever again.
exactly, yeah. Now you're like, well, great. Now I can't we can't do that again, you know, or at least not for a little while. Or you have to play your cards right with like the type of workout. Like, all right, maybe I've blown my chance on like barbell metcon, but next time we have like more of a cardio based type of thing, maybe I can convince you to go a little more distance or something like that. And it also depends on their wheelhouse, but yeah. And then like stuff with like the scoring or like people doing the workout in not the correct sequence. Hey, they still got the score is like the most unimportant thing, and sometimes, but it's always trying to like rear up and become the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it had sentience, it's like, yeah, I want to be important, and it's like, yeah, you are, but you're also not important. You know, like the effort and work that we're doing is important. So like, all right, if you did 20 minutes of calorie row and 50-foot, you know, farmers walks, well, you did a lot of farmers walks and a lot of calorie row today. You did not get fitter, you know.
Yeah.
Because like not every workout that we do is a competition, you know, and it shouldn't be, even though there are moments where it does turn into it. It's always like a blurry yes and yes, no and no situation. And you just have to make a decision and do your best in the moment. And if you mess it up, it's all right. Or like if you tell everybody the score is 50-foot down and back. Well, also, I imagine some people read right behind me that it's 25, and they were just like, maybe that's what he means, you know? Because also, it's like there's many times where like everything that we're saying, it's like, yeah, you're not even paying attention anyways, or you don't even you're saying you know what I mean, but you don't know what I mean. So it's like it'll all even out, you know, or you adjust scores. I am glad that we don't have really a gym or a community anymore that gets bent out of shape about things like that, where it's like, oh, we did the workout wrong, or which really you didn't do the workout wrong, you worked out, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if like the scoring, they're who's hyper obsessed about the scoring and things like that, because the more in the past, the more we've been obsessed about hyper scoring and every workout's competition, that's when cheating rears its ugly head.
Yeah.
And we haven't had really any of that in a big way in a really long time, where it's like we used to have people that like after every time they rode, they shut off their monitor. And it's like, why are you doing that? And then it's like, all right, I'm gonna stand behind you and see when it finishes and whatnot.
Yeah.
You don't know that I'm back here, and I'm being quiet too. And so that should be your first inclination. It's like, I haven't heard James's voice in a while. It's like I'm standing behind you, like 10 feet back, waiting for you to finish the row, so I could see if you went to 50 calories or 47 calories, you know. And then when I see it's 47, I'm like, hey, what happened to those other 3 calories? Miguel, are you scaling to 47? And you're like, no, I'm not scaling. I'm like, oh, I saw the monitor said 47. Here, let me pull up the memory for you right here. Would you like to finish the other 3 calories? Have you ever caught anyone cheating in a workout?
Yes. But again, like it kind of doesn't matter.
That you were coaching? You were coaching?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But in a way of like, it's not like they were putting in RX anyway.
Yeah.
But it was one of those scenarios where they were just like, okay, I want to stop my burpees at the same time that this person stops their burpees. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you're too short. And it was like last round, whatever. And then like, yeah. Only because it's like we don't. Yeah. It's like a Sunday. There's only one class. It's not like they're like, and now I'm at the top of the leaderboard. It was like,
yeah.
Okay. But I did notice.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you notice, because that way you're aware of
Yeah,
everything that's happening. And it is important to note, just in general, that people will scale mid workout, where like they agreed
exactly.
to do
Yeah,
20 reps and then they're like, yeah, but I switched to 15 reps. They're like, I wasn't going to be able to do 5 more, you know. So people will make those decisions, and it's entirely okay that they do. Whenever we're talking to people and they're like, all right, I'm going to do 15, 12, 9. That's not like set in stone now. If all of a sudden you're like, that's not going to work, I'm going to have to go 15, 9, 6. Do it, make that change. You know, you want people to be empowered to do that. But it's when the leaderboard stuff starts to come
yeah,
into play, you know. And yeah, it's just like with everything else on like what possesses a person to do that with like the records or the fake weights and stuff. It's always like, you know, they I look at it as like they want to be like part of the group or one of the boys, and like there's other people in class that they view themselves as peers of, but for some reason they'll find it embarrassing if they're finishing 5 minutes less, and they want to be in that post workout thing of like, oh yeah, the second rep of pull-ups, oh yeah, I've started to feel it here and blah blah,
yeah,
and I saw you get off the bar and blah blah. uh, but the thing is, it's like the people that like you're griping to, right? Is that griping? Right? Is it? No,
yeah,
griping.
yeah. I mean, to a degree, griping is like, yeah, you could use that, I would say.
Yeah, because griping's not like a negative thing, like complaining. It's like a
It could be used in like the shared pain sense. Yes, I
okay.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There might be another word I'm thinking of here that like I'm trying to think of Saving Private Ryan. They were talking about something about like it goes up or it goes down. It doesn't go up. Like the captain doesn't do this with you. He only does it
Mm,
up, type of a thing. Hmm. I'll have to look that up. But anyways, like it's like the people that you're doing that with, they know you cheated. They're
right.
like, there's no way he got off the pull-up bar when I got off the pull-up bar. I saw him stop 3 times. I did it unbroken, or I did mine in 2 sets. So it's like I think we're at a place now where like the people that you're trying to like rub elbows with by cheating, they know you cheated. And like they're also hyper aware of where everyone else in the room, because they're trying to beat everybody else.
Yeah.
They're trying to get the top score. So of course, if you're saying you got off the pull-up bar at the same time as me, but I did 2 sets of 10 and I saw you come off the pull-up bar 4 times. Now I'm starting to think, I'm like, how did that happen? You know,
Yeah.
like, so people know. But yeah, it's one of those things too. Like we've had so many debates at the gym about it in the past. I'm like, is it hurting anyone? You know, like, are we taking this all way too seriously? Maybe they're just bad at counting. You always try to give them the
Yeah. Yeah.
benefit. They're not a villain. They're not an evil person, but boy, do they get turned into one within the social
Hmm.
group of people that they're like, well, Miguel's name shouldn't be there. He's on row 2. I'm on row 3. I
Yeah.
should be
Yeah.
on row 2. So you did take something away from other people, but it's just the workout of the day.
Hmm.
You know, it's the same thing with like, why do you need that rower? Why do you need that pull-up bar? This is all training. You'd be better if you used not your favorite pull-up bar, or if you used any rower that came your way. You'd be way better. You know, use the the old clunky dumbbell instead of the new fancy one. But people get certain things in their head of what they need, and it's like, really, I don't know, what's the only thing you need? Just the will to work, right?
That's actually funny that you mentioned the pull-up bar because I missed 2 muscle-ups
Oh
yesterday at
gosh.
the end of the
Uh-oh.
workout, and I'm like, huh. I had to use one of those high pull-up bars. I had to jump off a 6-inch box, and it wasn't one of the nice pull-up bars. I wonder if I would have missed if I was on the Spiel bars.
See, that's the thing. Service Cup workout 4, there was an athlete in class, and they wanted to use the Spiel bar, and and I was just like, fine, but like, but I also said I would encourage you to use the other bars other times, and that's a tough thing, because like, all right, if you come to class and we have such small classes, why wouldn't you use the one
Yeah.
that you want to use? Why wouldn't you have your own personal bar? It's just my thing is like we can't build up so many things that ultimately hold us back. Because when you go to the other gym and you're going to do this competition, because this is typically an issue with people who take things really seriously and do competitions, you're kind of like putting yourself at a disadvantage. You
For
know,
sure.
it's like in barbell club. I'm glad you guys kind of do it automatically now. Face the other way when you're going for your openers or on a certain day a week before competition. Go to a different spot. You did it last week. On just going, I think you were in Haley's spot, and then Schaff moved to Justin's spot, and people were moving around. Not everyone did it, but it's like, yeah, being in an uncomfortable place. Isn't it odd how like moving 10 feet to the left can make things change?
Yeah, and I obviously, like with our floor, we all talk about like whatever, but there is no spot that feels exactly the same, but you get used to your specific spot. Like even
Yeah.
the way that you roll in the bar, you do it in a way because you're like, yeah, in this spot, it feels like this here. And like even if you were to move up a foot, it would feel different. So yeah, it's definitely because the platforms, one to have like a platform in the warm-up room is going to feel different than like just our strips. And then obviously you go out to the platform, the competition platform, that's going to feel different than, and then like the carpet also, and like everything's different. So it's like
Yeah.
you might as well
The
get as much
lights.
stimulus and like whatever. Like, okay, if I do have to just figure it out, what does that feel like? What are the things that actually matter? Like, is the bar touching my shins? Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you can't get too comfortable with it, you know. You have to always find ways to get outside the comfort zone, because it's crazy how quickly the comfort zone starts to wrap you up like a warm blanket. Like it happens only a couple sessions in a new spot, and all of a sudden you're like, well, I'm nesting now, you
Yeah.
know, instead of being like in survival mode. Like we want to be thriving more than we're surviving, but
Yeah.
like you have to survive before you thrive, kind of a deal. Because if you're nesting, you're just like, well, I'm really comfortable. My drink goes here, and this is here, and
Yeah.
I have my chair, and all that stuff, and then that just then you start to get so comfortable where you're like, all right, I'm resting. Let me pull out my phone, and now it's like, what are you doing? You're taking yourself out of the whole
Yeah.
mindset, and then all of a sudden you go to states, and it's like there is music, or maybe not sometimes, and there's a lot of people. There's people walking in front of you. There's names being called. There's announcements being made. You're hearing your name because you're a couple lifts out. All of a sudden you hear Miguel, and you're like, what? Oh, you know, and then, you know, you're maybe having to share a platform with someone else. It's not your barbell. There's so many different things. You go to step off, there's carpet, you're on the wood. There's a barrier now. There's an end to the wood,
Hmm.
where it's not like at the gym where if you went beyond the wood, you're just on the rubber. Now you're going to be out onto
Yeah.
the carpet, and there's like a 1 inch dip, you know, to maybe the wood is coming up because the screws are getting loose on the
Yeah.
platform. There's just
And
so
then
many
it's
things.
like you might walk onto the platform at 20 seconds left in your clock. Like, can you get settled when you're not settled and
Yeah.
still lift?
Yeah.
Like, all those things are. I am still hung up on if I would have missed those muscle ups if I was on the spiel bar, though. That actually, wow, very interesting.
You didn't realize how much it affected you until right now.
Yeah, no. Huh. Hmm.
This is the last round,
Yeah.
right at the end. Oh, we don't like if you had it
Shred.
going perfectly all the way through. That's the worst.
I actually enjoyed that workout a lot. I actually, not to say I like failing reps, but that's like, it makes me go like, oh, I found the limit.
Yep. Yep. 5 rounds every 3 minutes, 200-meter run, 7 pull-ups, 5 chest-to-bar pull-ups, 3 bar muscle-ups.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you did the full run for and you obviously did the pull-ups and chest-bar pull-ups. Did you do them like, all right, 7 pull-ups, break 5, break 3, or did you start to blur the lines?
So round one, Josh kind of challenged me. I think I was gonna do it anyway just to see, but I did 753 all unbroken.
Okay, that's good.
My bar muscle up grip is a little bit wider than my pull up grip, so those felt a little bit weird. Um, and then I was doing regular pull ups and chest to bars together, all unbroken, and then breaking right before the bar muscle ups. But the last round, like everything was gone. I think I did all the pull ups, 2 of the chest to bars, and then dropped. Finished the chest to bars, and then got 2 muscle ups, missed the third, went for the single, missed it again, and then got it.
All right. Yeah, I feel like we've done this workout before. Maybe.
Something similar, I think.
I do like the format of it.
I think they did say it was a repeat from last year, but I don't think I did it. But yeah,
I like that format of like the skills start at like the basic one and ramps up to the big one. The reps go down type of deal. It is it's a little bit of a challenge to coach something like that because especially if you want everyone to have 3 different things to do, and now you got to find 3 different things, which you can, you could do. You can do multiple types of ring rows. You could do ring rows, bar pull-ups, bar muscle up, jumping muscle up. So it's not impossible. It's just a lot of logistics with everyone's just trying to get a pull-up for the most part. And now you have to have 3 different variations with so many different skill levels in class. I wasn't there, but I imagine Josh handled the challenge well, right?
Oh yeah, I was actually surprised because I was talking to Alexis after Friday's class about like, oh yeah, how would we do that? And be like, well, we can, because obviously it's like you're getting progressively higher skill based as you go through. And I was like, well, we can do it kind of in a similar way where we can do like the adjustable and do like a pull up to a chest to bar to a this and that. And like Josh had it all already figured out for everyone. Because obviously I was the only person doing muscle ups, so he had to have something for everybody else. So yeah,
it's another workout I would like to see Mike do. He keeps missing these awesome Saturday workouts that are like perfect for him. They're like, these are Mike workouts.
The runs were aggressive.
Yeah,
but I liked it. Yeah.
It's funny. It's that workout, I wasn't gonna be able to make it in, but I was thinking, okay, what would I do? And then I also saw that there was an athlete in class who can't do any shoulder stuff. And I was like, well, here's a big challenge, because the week before this athlete had come in and we were doing the snatches, and even like he didn't even want to do deadlifts. I'm like, well, what if we just did a deadlift instead? Because like of the weight pulling on his arm. So like, he wasn't wanting to do. Like, it's tough when an athlete comes to class and you're like, how about this? How about this? How about this? And they're like, no. Then I'm like, oh, we're running out, of things. And we're also getting further away from maintaining the movement stimulus and the movement pattern. And now it's like, well, we're just working out now. We're just, and sometimes you're worked into a funnel like that. There's no way around it. But I had sent Josh a bunch of options. It was Friday night. I was watching, what was I watching? That friendship movie. I watched that finally. I did no idea what I was getting. I was like, what am I watching? This is not, it was a good movie, but I thought this was going to be one of those like buddy fun movies.
No,
and it was not. Yeah. It was dark and I still don't even know what's wrong with him, because it flipped.
Yeah.
At first I thought maybe it was going to be Paul Rudd's character is going to be, but then I'm like, no, all right, it is you. You are the weird one. It was just really weird. I don't know. They never said what his issue was, right?
Yeah.
He was just, but I started making these for Josh. I kept the 200-meter run the same for all of them, but option number 1 was all abs. And I'm like, well, you could have him do 7 hollow rocks, 5 hollow raises, and a 12-second hollow hold. And even though I started with the more complex because that way we do more reps with it. And hollow rocks take time insidiously, and you don't realize it until you have to go do something else. And then the hollow raises, they're just hard in general. 5 of those is tough. And then I picked a 12-second hold because I was like, well, what's a reasonable amount of time to get 3 bar muscle ups done unbroken? And I just kind of like, all right, 4 seconds per muscle up, 2 seconds down below, 2 seconds up top. If you're really putting them together, I could have gone 15 seconds. So that was like, all right, he can't hold on to anything. We're going to go run. We're going to get killer abs, hopefully be done around 2-ish minutes, have a minute to rest because it is an interval type of thing. So that was one option. Another ab option was 7 weighted sit-ups, hugging a slam ball, and then 5 hollow raises, 3 hollow rocks. So this is putting the most complex one at the end type of deal. Then I went, I had an option of pulling if it'd be allowed. Like, okay, can we do some rowing stuff? Well, if that would be accepted, you could do 200-meter run, 7 calorie row, 5 ring rows, 3 bent over dumbbell rows at like a weight that you're not going to get crazy with, but like a weight where you're like, all right, there's my 3 at the end.
Yeah.
And then there's all lower body options, 7 goblet squats, 5 goblet lunges, 3 box jumps. Just as another, that way we're like going onto something. It's a box instead of up on the pull-up bar. And then I had the mixed bag option, 7 calorie row, 5 goblet squats, 3 weighted sit-ups, it's hard. It's because also I didn't want to add more reps because now I'm like, well, if I add more reps, that's more time. And I know this person might be moving slower anyways, or from station to station. So just try to encourage going fast, and it's inclusive. You're with everybody. We're keeping the stimulus the best we can. So, but it's like, you got to think outside the box. Like if someone comes in, you're like, yeah, I'm not using anything above the belly button today. What do you got for me, Miguel? And you're like, but it's pull up and push up day. Great. You could have told me this yesterday and I could have planned. And you're like, and many times that situation happens when you didn't even know they were coming. They showed up late. They showed up after the whiteboard brief, and they're like, yeah, I can't do anything that gets my heart rate above this. I haven't eaten all day. I can't use either arm. And you're like, all right, great. But the thing is, you don't want to just be like, we'll sit on a bike for the whole class and watch all of us work out. Right. So it's tough. You got to think on your feet. And I was just like thinking, well, let me just like give Josh some options so he doesn't have, I'm sure he's thinking about it. But I particularly saw that athlete signed up for class, and I'm like, well, I was in class last week, but I also like helped so that way Josh could keep coaching the class, and I was trying to solve this problem for him. But I think that like stuff like that, and we had another athlete that they came in on Monday, and I texted him on Friday. I'm like, hey, where you been? Haven't seen you all week. You came in on Friday or on Monday, and it's Friday, and then they're like, oh, work got busy, blah, 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 right? I'm like, oh, glad everything's okay. We'll see you in class soon. I think little things like that is what sets CrossFit apart from other things. Like, you're not going to get a call from someone at Planet Fitness. Hey, Miguel, notice you haven't come in for a while. Are you okay? What's going on? How do we get you back in here? And it's also something that sets CrossFit's up different from gym to gym, I'm trying to think, like, is there anything else like that on like an activity that I've done? And really not. I've only done CrossFit where like people check in on you like that and like give you a sense that like they care, or that they want you to come back. Like I did lessons with a bunch of places at the beginning of the year. Afterwards, no one followed up.
Right.
I'm like, hey, like just like a week or two later, here's an email. Hey, did you enjoy your experience? When you coming in for the next lesson? It was just kind of in and out. What do you think about that? All that?
Yeah, I think we kind of have like a team sport type of vibe without it being that. Because I mean, like, there's even personal training, right? But that's like you've prepaid for sessions, and either way, like they're still like whatever. just don't tell me last minute so that I go and you're not there.
Yeah. Because then they're going to charge you a session too.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, like, there's that. I would say, yeah, not in a sense of like the coach necessarily, because there are like things where it's like they'll check on you just for like money's sake, and then there's like communal also, where like maybe a teammate or something. Like I know a lot of people who do like rec sports, and if they're not there for like a while, but like those people are more like, oh, we're like acquaintances, or like we're friends already, and I know you from, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So
You're
yeah,
getting
I would
pizza,
say,
wings, and beer after the
yeah,
rec sport.
exactly. So yeah, I would say CrossFit is one of those specific ones where it's like directly, because it is a group, but it is still like an individual thing. Like you will be missed in a way that's like kind of specific.
Yeah. And I think we have it down at our gym too, where other athletes do notice when others aren't there,
Right.
when they are regularly, and then they'll ask. They're like, "Well, where's Art?" That's always the classic one, you know, because like he'll have his summer schedule or his
Yeah.
senior schedule, and he'll be like, "Yeah, I won't be in until next Thursday," and it's Tuesday, and it's like, "Wait a minute, who authorized all this time
Yeah.
off?"
Yeah.
You know. But like, and so he's one that people are hyper aware of, and they'll always ask, "Where is he? He's supposed to be here," you know. So it's fun that we have like built up that community of like everyone notices like, well, what, this person should be here, or I haven't seen this person in a while. And then they'll even ask you when you come in. They're like, we missed you the other day.
Right.
You owe me burpees, you know, like Dan or Bill will tell Art like, you weren't here on burpee day. They'll give you a lot. They'll give him some shit about it, you know. So it's a nice thing, and it's kind of like if you do it, they'll do it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of so like with you, like with your classes, if like you notice someone's coming on Sunday every now all the time, and all of a sudden they haven't been in 5 Sundays, and then you're like, I also haven't seen them coming in to other classes, and you send out a message or something, they're like, oh wow, he noticed, he really cares about me, whatnot, and then you do that enough times, and then they'll start to do it with each other, type of a thing.
Yeah.
Or like in barbell club, like I'll typically tell everybody why everyone isn't in. That way there aren't like thoughts of like, oh, they're slacking type of. I'm like, no, they have an appointment and they were in earlier today and they did the workout, you know. That way there's no accusations thrown out around the room, which it's kind of funny. I don't know how that's the vibe in the barbell club space on everyone assumes someone's just taking a day off. Is that like more of like an envious thing on like, boy, a day off sounds really good, and how dare they be the one to be getting it?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, again, it's a very small group that's very like consistently there 3 times a week. Like probably for a good amount of the club, it's like that is the most consistent thing other than work that they have. So it's like when somebody's missing, it's like the whole dynamic is different. Something's off.
Yeah. It's like, wait, we needed you here. Like if I'm not seeing you lift out of my periphery, it affects my lifting, type of a deal. Or I normally pace off of you, but you're not here. Now I have to pace off someone else, and now everything's wrong because they go faster than you do, or they go slower than you do. Now, or I have to be the pace setter, type of thing. Yeah, it's interesting to see those things kind of blossom in all their different groups, and I would say it's a fun part of the job. You know, like imagine how like I don't know, like I've never done that in because I've personal trained. Like I don't do it actively now. I ultimately don't enjoy personal training one-on-one anymore. But when I've done it in the past, I've never once done the thing of like, oh, all right, you can't come. I got to charge you for a session. So you've got 5 now, because I want you to use them, because like I want you to get better. I've never once at the YMCA or anything like that. I never did that, you know, especially when like someone's like, oh, my kid's sick, I couldn't make it in. and by the way, you lost a session, so
Yeah.
it's like I understand why it's done in the practice, I guess I'm a little more in the way I do things, a little more familial, a little more like all right, we're in this together kind of a thing. All right, you didn't get to train today. Well, I didn't get to train you today kind of
Yeah.
deal. I wanted to train you today. So um I'm not going to give you an extra negative on the negative type of a deal. But I do understand why people do it, because there's people that have just entire personal training businesses. They have multiple clients throughout the day. You canceling means they could have maybe put someone in there,
Yeah.
So I get it. I do get it. I just feel bad doing it,
Yeah. Right.
and I haven't. So it's a cool thing. I think it's something that sets CrossFit specifically apart from all these things. And I don't know if they do that, or Orange Theory or F45 or other things, because those places, they mimic like CrossFit a little bit in what they're doing, but I don't know if they take it that far.
Yeah.
There's certainly many classes that we have where it's like, okay, it's the tell, show, do, check, boom, 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 boom. We're doing all the things. We're coaching. But then there's also a lot of classes where it's like it's the right group of people and the right day, and it's like it's almost like we're hanging out. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm here. I brought you through the things, but we're hanging out. That's how it was on Thursday. I had Shy, Mo, and Teach in class. The three of them are pretty good friends, and they talk outside of class too. And their conversations before class kind of bleed into class.
Yep.
And so that's like their little social thing. So like I'm coaching them and taking them through the drills and whatnot, but it's like really laid back, like a lot more laid back than if it would be like 10 people who aren't all as close to one another. Like we're still going to have a fun time. We're still going to joke and talk and all these things. But it's like during the 3 minutes of rest, it's probably more of like, all right, you need to do this, you need to do that. Where it's like these guys, it's like, hey, lock out your arms more and like go up more weight. And then they're talking about movies or whatever it is they're talking about. I think a large part of the conversation was Michigan versus Ohio, right? I don't even know. College football. So it's like, oh, all right, this is the college football class. This is that's the main focus. And I think it's okay too. I almost think you need those every now and then. You need those laid back days because they're also fun type of a deal. I don't know if you've had workouts that fit the mold to be able to do, like, this was just kind of a perfect scenario of like, it's a 10-minute partner AMRAP. And like they had already thought of before I even got there, how they're going to factor in Teach. It was like, they knew he was coming before I did. So, all right, we're going to have a group of 3. They had already figured it out. They were going to do the math this way, subtract a third of the score because they're hyper focused on the score and what it was going to be and who's going to go when. All like they already had it all figured out. So it's like, all right, I just taught them how to do some skier stuff. We did the warm up. We did some drills on the rings. They can all do ring dips. So it's almost like, oh, this is a very easy class too. You can all do ring dips, and gave different strategies for the weights. And like, you do this during that one, that. And it's like, but other than that, it's like really, really chilled out,
Yeah.
Have you had those types of classes?
Yeah. It was the same Friday one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Similar format where it's just like, there was so much downtime, and it's like, you don't always have to fill it.
No.
With like, okay, and then also here's a stretch that you can do as soon as you're done with this, and then like, let's all get down. And it was just like, no, we'll chat. I'll look around and I'm like, oh, that looks great. Like, do you want to go up? Let's try this. Like, smaller group. You have so much time to try at a different station. You can add weight. We're just chatting. You guys are already chatting, so I'll just hop in. And yeah.
And it's, you need to let people do that because, all right, you can easily retitle downtime as bonding time. On like, okay, like this is a workout in a scenario that is going to lend itself well, that maybe friendships are forming right now in the room, or you can talk about something and then two people realize, oh, I used to work there. Oh, all right. Oh, I had no idea. You're not going to get that on Monday's workout of thrusters and burpees. They're like, there's no downtime during that workout. Everyone's dying after it, and then we're doing so much prep and a lot of practice beforehand. But in a workout like for Friday, I was like, yeah, all right. And it kind of felt right for Friday. It's like, yeah, it's Friday. Like Mondays when it's like, all right, put your grip here, do all that stuff. And Friday, everyone's like, can we just work out, type of a deal. So yeah, it's good to have those in there. It's good for community building, and you can have fun with it. Like I think one of the things we even talked about too, because we've been talking about it in a lot of classes, is that Catfish movie with the mom texting her daughter and whatnot. And so we were talking about that, and everyone's like, I can't believe that's even a thing, so it's a lot of fun, and it makes coaching fun too. And it's one thing that helps you not get burnt out on coaching, to have those like casual Friday type of days where it's like you mold what you're doing based on the type of workout. And you could even almost look at it as in like, okay, you are going to do coaching and a lot of coaching, and you're still doing the craft, but you can kind of see in the programming certain days where you're like, that's almost like a mental rest for the coach type of day too, when you see like a workout where like, all right, you're going to have to do a lot of coaching, but it's different than muscle up snatch day. That's a very involved day. And then you have a day where you're like, oh, let them pick whatever machine they want and go back and forth for 10 minutes and do a plank. There's still coaching to be done, but it's not a very involved day. So imagine if you had a day where you had to do coach Amanda, then you had to coach rope climbs and high box jumps and ring dips and all kinds of stuff. Then you had another day where it was more complex skills, heavy clean and jerk mixed in with blah, blah, blah. It gets to you a little bit. You're like, you kind of need those days where you're like, yeah, we're going to do a 20-minute AMRAP of like just these simpler things of sit-ups and bike and a run, it's just not those workouts that not too much to it. And then your coaching energy goes into more of like getting them to do more and pushing at certain points, and a little tweak here and there on technique, but not too much, because it's also a day where you can just let them go. Those grunt work days are good for athletes and the coach too.
For sure.
I think sometimes you forget that, and then you could get in a situation where you're trying to coach the heck out of something that doesn't need to be coached on this day, and then you just exhaust yourself. You're like, why did I even do that? Like this day could have been way more fun than this, for me and them. Have you coached a class where you've done that before, where it was like, all right, it's going to be farmers carries and sit-ups and I don't know, what's another simple thing? Push-ups, those aren't all simple things, but we can certainly get more complex. Have you had a day where you're like, I'm going to coach the heck out of all these things? You could even just see it in their eyes. They're like, please stop.
Where I'm like, we're going to go over how you can hold the dumbbell for the farmer's carry. So look at me first. I'm going to pick it. And then like, even like, not like rolled eyes, but like if I was to do something like that, they'd be like, oh my gosh, we have to go through all this together.
Yeah. And then after you told them the trick, because I did this on Tuesday, I'll just a suggestion, you can let the dumbbell kind of dangle, and then you're looking, you're like, no one's doing it.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. All right, great. I'm glad I went over that thing, this special little technique, and you guys are all just picking up the dumbbells and walking with them. Great. That's happened. I've done that a million times where you're like, this is going to get them. This is going to they're going to love this. And then like, you're looking at everyone doing the workout and you're like, no one's doing it.
Yeah.
Great. And I'm going to run over by 2 minutes. And that was that 2 minutes, that thing that I thought was special, and no one's doing it. And it was all a waste of time. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those funny quirks of coaching, but awesome, Miguel. Well, we've covered a lot. Any closing thoughts on anything that we've talked about so far?
No. Yeah. I feel like we covered it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we'll see what the IWF decides. We'll keep watching CrossFit events, and the next we won't be back next week because we have the state championships.
Right.
So if we are podcasting next Sunday, something has gone terribly wrong. Right. So we'll reconvene the week after to do a nice states recap, which we'll be hopefully announcing all of the PRs and the medals won, and I signed us up for the team competition. So we're going to bring back a barbell, so we'll be happy to report all of that next week.
Yeah.
Miguel, where can people follow you?
Couldn't be Miguel on Instagram.
Cool. Follow me, James A. McDermott. Follow the Barbell Strikes Back, Albany CrossFit Barbell Club, Albany CrossFit, and while we're on it, New York Weightlifting since States is coming up in. We will talk to you all again soon. And good luck, Shaf, because maybe he'll listen to this on his way to States.
Yeah.